It's got dinosaurs in it, and we will. And there's a reason. And it's got a beetle in it, and a Bond girl, and a future barmaid. It's a wonderful movie. I really like it, even though it's got some problematic points, which we'll delve into a bit. But before we get too much further into it, please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the movie. Did you like it? Did you at least like the dinosaurs? They were arguably some of the best stars. Well, the one dinosaur and the other prehistoric animal and the enlarged lizard. Best enlarged lizard ever. Literal Slurposaurus. So let me know. And if you could watch just a little longer than usual, I'm going to try to keep this short because, boy, I took like 400 screenshots of it and had to whittle it down. But we'll whip through it. All right, are you ready? Let's roll. So we start out, which looks like this, with credits that look like they're from, or a title scene that looks like it's made out of alphabets. If you're of a certain vintage, you'll know that. The movie itself was released April 17th, 1981, some 6 days after your humble agent's birthday. So that's when I saw it. We saw it opening night due to the machinations of a certain genius who will remain uh, unnamed. That was in the United States. It was released on Christmas Day, 1981, in Mexico. It runs a whopping 91 minutes. The budget was 6.5 million and it brought in 16 million. So it was a relatively good sized hit, I would think. We see the hostile tribe, as they're called in the credits, scavenging for food. And there's Ringo Starr himself, and right behind him is, as a Took, right behind him is his buddy Lar, played by Dennis Quaid. The whole cast has a great chemistry, and right next to him, on if you're viewing this on your left, is Avery Schreiber as Ock. They all have interesting names. So it's directed by Carl Gottlieb, who also wrote the script. And he was best known for writing the screenplay for Jaws and its first two sequels and directing this film. So I don't know what else he's writer, director, absent-minded waiter with Mr. Steve Martin, and Amazon Women on the Moon segments. Geez, never seen him. And he was in MASH, Jaws. I was in Jaws and as an actor. Things. Johnny Dangerously. Geez, I do think I'd seen some of these, but I have not. Anyway, that's Carl Gottlieb. And there is our villain of the piece, played by John Matuzak. Uh, he was a defensive end for the Raiders, at least, or Houston Oilers, but he spent most of his career with the Faders there and retired after winning his second Super Bowl in 1981. And this, he made this movie. He's a gigantic 6'8", and they make use of it, especially because Ringo Starr is not that tall. So, and the biggest and the strongest. It's not my fault I'm the biggest and the strongest. Uh, is running the tribe, and it's dated 1 zillion BC, October 9th. So Ringo, or Atuk, is looking for food, and he finds this lizard, and he's ready to get it. So they pan from the lizard back to Atuk, and then the horned reptile. Now, I think they wrote in horned lizard. They wanted a triceratops, but they got a gigantic chameleon of some kind. These are just great shots. The mat work is excellent. It was filmed down in Mexico, and some in the Cherubusco Studios, which we've talked about in the past. Sierra de Oreganos National Park, and that is in Zacatecas, Mexico. And then, yes, and all of these were stop motion stuff was done, on tabletops, of course. Jim Danforth was a major participant in this, but he left the film about 2/3 of the way in because he couldn't get a directing credit because of the the Directors Guild of America. So he left. And there's a Cinefix magazine about this that I do have that goes into detail far more about it. So we'll talk about the other effects artists here at some point. If I don't even think they're credited here, but we do give them. But it's really well done. I mean, everything's comedic, so don't expect true danger in anything except for this part right here. Tonda throws out all of the cavemen in the tree. So there's Lar grabbing hold of the end of the tail. That is the stop motion puppet, which it's so skillfully done. You wouldn't, and so quickly you had to look for it. The matcha is what they call a large animal. Pushes the tree over, really excellent scene, and then drags, I don't know which one, let's say Grok. Um, there's a lot. They have all the credits in here, but he drags him away, and this is the only fatality in the movie. And they show him like you don't see him eating it, but he's moving his head up and down, so he eats the caveman. Everyone's going, "Oh, all right, well that's how it goes." And then Atuk is trying to help Lar, and Tonda doesn't like that, so he just kicks him out. Lar's exiled, and off they go. Now these are just I just love these scenes. That just beautiful um, scenes they shot around here, and there is Alana, who is now Ringo Starr's wife, Barbara Bach, and they are all come in. They've toned down all the makeup, so she's not quite as exotic looking as she could be. But the whole cast has great chemistry with each other. Tuk is in love with Lana. He Alunda Lana, and you can tell he is the smart one because he's got cave paintings of what is obviously a plesiosaur, and he's inventing the wheel or trying to. He gives her food. She gives it right away to a Tonda, and now we see night. Now this howling is called the howling lizard. We have often speculated that it was the model from um, when dinosaurs ruled the earth because it certainly looks like it. And there are three shots of it, but you see one in the daylight. But I did not see that because I must have missed it. It's brief. I don't think it's that. I think it's a new model, but just one that they used briefly. And if it is, good job that it stayed because it would have been 10 years old by this time. So they're still looking for food, and guess what kind of plant this is? It's a highly narcotic plant that has berries, and they make Atuk eat it. And but before he passes out, he stashes some in his little pouch there because he's smart enough to have a pouch. And there they are. So this is one of the problematic sequences. He essentially drugs both Tonda and Lana because he wants to have his way with Lana because that'll make her fall in love with him. I mean, for one thing, she's not a good person, and for another thing, it's wrong, Atuk. But he's so inept that he fails miserably. There are some bodily function jokes in here, and one of them is that Tonda flatulates and blows Atuk off their. I guess it's a bed. Anyway, here we go. And this and Bolero, Ravel's Bolero is playing because 10 was just a year before this one. Yeah, maybe. And that was a big deal about that with Bo Derek. And I'd like to see that again because I remember not being that impressed with it, except for that one scene. So he's trying to get it, and he ends up falling asleep in between them. Tonda wakes up feeling a little randy and finds out that he's got a Duke on top of him, throws him out, and he has a problem with this rock. There's a couple of scenes where and bless him, John Matuzak did everything he could for the joke. He's going to smash him, but he ends up falling backwards, and Atuk just leaves. He finds Lar. They're reunited, and they invent chiropractic, and now they can walk erect. Homo erectus lives. And then they go to sleep because they don't know where else to go. And a giant dragonfly lands, and apparently that's the only way he did it. He scooshed him. So I guess they clean off Lar, and then they meet Tala and her father Gog. Now that is Shelley Long in one of her first roles, and she's the reason this movie is the reason I watched Cheers and those first 5 seasons of Cheers, 5, 6, well, before she left, were really good. And then I lost interest in it because I just. But her father is Jack Gilford, who I don't know if we've seen. Where is he? He was a character actor. Yeah, we've seen him in I mean, you've seen him all over Broadway and stage. The Cat, which we'll be reviewing because you can find the whole thing at Internet Archive. The Ghost and Mrs. Muir in the show. Get Smart. Simon the Likeable. I'm seeing what else. All in the Family, Taxi as Joe Rieger. That must be Rieger's father. No, just everything. He's just been in tons of things. The Golden Girls, you name it. He's been in lots. He's blind. But he falls into a tar pit, so they have to rescue him. That's how they meet everybody. Lana or Tala decides she likes Atuk. She's like, you can see she's giving him the look already. They get Gog, so they go and wash up. I don't know how you get tar off, but it worked. And now they've lost Gog again. And this is one of the funnier scenes, of course, where, I meant to do that. But you saw the trailer yesterday. And if there's time, I'll put it on again. But we'll see. This is one of the funnier scenes. This poor T Rex, who right now is a tail dragger. Gog wallops him in a private area, in a tender, in his cloaca, is where he gets him. And again, look at the mat work in here. It's just wonderful. So, funny thing here, I saw this movie 4 times in the theater after it was released, probably because it stayed there for quite a while, at least 4 weeks. I really liked it. In 1981, that was 1980. I only saw Empire Strikes Back 3 times, and I think I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark later on, and I only saw Clash of the Titan once in the theater. So, Clash of the Titans. I don't want him coming after me for that. But here he's not a tail dragger. So he's leaned over. This is mostly a correct dinosaur posture. Now he's a tail dragger again, but he's been stabbed. Atuk accidentally stabs him and he walks off. And now Lara realizes what's going on here and asks if they want to do some zug zug. You can just extrapolate what that means. But he's in love with Lana. So now he's all emboldened because he stabbed a T Rex accidentally, and they go up there, and Tala is not impressed with Lana, but he's still afraid of Tonda, so he runs out. Tonda, in a feat of strength, breaks apart a big old chicken leg or something that they've got for food, and gives the small half to the rest of the tribe, which is still pretty big. They are so funny. She is so funny. Her facial expressions in this movie are excellent. She's making fun of him. Oh, a tuk tunda, a tuk matcha. And he's like, shish. So there's this howling lizard. Atuk and Lar go in to kidnap Lana. Again, not a good thing to do. I know it's comedy, but still. And fail miserably. He runs out and he's going to throw a rock at him, but he forgets to let go of the rock. Hits the rock, breaks the rock with his head, and when he lands, the earth shakes because he's that big. So they meet a new tribe of misfits. I think they're the misfit tribe. Unfortunately, the horned lizard is back. Tala's like, uh-oh, matcha. Another great effect shot here. Atuk throws a gourd, and it lands right on his on his horn. Can't get it off, so he just wanders away. So I see the look on her face. She's like, yeah, okay, Dad, let's go. Now it's raining, lightning bolt, and guess what? They discover fire. Now, they don't make it themselves, but they discover fire, a raka. And while they're being watched by a different tribe, which are this tribe. That is right there. That is Carl Lumbly as Bork. He would be he's best known for Mantis, which lasted 3 years. How is that even possible? And he's also the voice of John Jones from the Justice League. Right? Tell me I'm right, because Batman Beyond. Come on, where's the Justice League? Yeah, there he is. John Jones, main cast, and lots of things. Just been in lots of things. So always the tornado champion and the tornado tyrant in Batman the Brave and Bold. So yeah, and then I don't know which one this is. And there is for one of the first male couples in prehistory, I would assume. So they're all there. They've got fire, and that is Nuke, played by Evan C. Kim, who is also the voice of Mercury in The Young Sentinels, which we reviewed a couple of years ago. So, and he's been in lots of other things as well. And that's his pet lizard. I don't know that he's got a name, but that's his pet iguana. Who's an actual an iguana, and a real sized iguana in a dinosaur movie. Go figure. So Atuk tries to remake tear the bird in half, but they end up discovering roasted chicken or roasted dinosaur, as the case may be. That is Ta, played by Cork Hubbard, who discovers that by blowing into a water jug, you can make a sound, the miracle of music. I can't do it with that. So everyone starts dancing. One of my favorite non dinosaur scenes in any prehistoric movie. They have a jam. He burns himself and then keeps doing it. That same genius just thinks that's hilarious. And there it's nighttime. Atuk gets up to relieve himself in the morning, as you have to do. And Cranky Saurus here, that's what I've been calling him, Cranky Saurus Rex. He's not grumpy, he's cranky. But he's hungry too. And he goes after Atuk because he's probably also realized that's the guy that just jabbed me. Now apparently he was supposed to keep walking around with a stick in his arm. After every encounter with the caveman, he has a worse day. But they took it out. They took his roars out, made him burp. Ta is about to get scooshed. That's a lovely shot here. But he doesn't step on him. He steps over him. Atuk tricks him into stepping on the fire and burning himself. So now he's got a burnt foot and a big old hole in his chest. So, see, this was supposed to be a running gag, but apparently it was too much for the producers. So they're all happy, but now they're hungry. First, they were going to eat the little lizard, but Nuke says, no, he can watch this. And he's the only one that speaks English in the movie. He actually speaks English. Fire, every love, says everything. So, but he gives in because everyone else is speaking KVs. And then we find yet another oversized prehistoric egg. You'd think that the two baby caterpillars were in there, but they're not. So off they go. I'm hoping that's not the real lizard and just a model, but that is a model. But Ta is under here. They get tired. They set it down on him, which is a funny sequence. And then the hostile tribe shows up and thinks, oh, they've got a giant egg. But then they find out that it's Atuk, and Tonda has a long memory. He holds grievances, let's just say. And you get the runaround where they chase each other for quite a bit. And then the Atuk leads his men around the rock, and these guys chase each other around by themselves and run into each other. And they take the egg. Unfortunately, the egg's mother, I mean, geez, that had to be the worst birth ever, laying of eggs. A pteranodon. This is my favorite pteranodon in the movies because it looks like a pteranodon. Nothing bad happens to her except she loses an egg, but it's a great model. No bat wings. It's got purple in it. It's probably two. That was probably two that would have hatched out of there. So, and it chases these guys down. It's a winged adventure. So it's the only prehistoric animal who doesn't really get too much of a personality, but it's after its egg. Just these great shots. They drop the egg. It chases them some more. Splats open. The misfit tribe goes and down, and they find out you can eat it. It smells good, so they eat it. Bork there pops the yolk and ends up slipping in it. You know, it is a slapstick. There is a lot of slapstick in here. And off they go. They take it home. And then, of course, the hostile tribe shows up. They use fire to scare them away and light Avery Schreiber's ox butt on fire, and he flatulates. And once again, that genius could not stop laughing. He really tried not to, but he almost hurt himself. He had a cousin there, and it was very prim and proper young lady, and I guess like she wouldn't poot either. But anyway, the fire is gone, so they have to go raid the. They've set out to go raid the hostile tribe to get the fire back, and they wander into a bunch of doo doo. Yeah, shit. And they throw Ta in there because he's laughing at them. But they bring the fire in, and they show this, and they show that he's burned his butt clean. And it's nice that the makeup man, you can tell this is a fake butt. Look at that. But they added a little burn on there. So he couldn't sit down. But now that Tonda's seen them walking erect, he helps out, and he does a good thing. This is a funny little scene. He just boops her on the head, and she pops right up. And that whole look on her face is like, hey. He has to have everyone pile on him to get, his back fixed. So now everyone is Homo erectus as opposed to Homo neanderthalis or whatever they were tilted over for. I doubt that cavemen actually did that, but. So they're headed out, and guess who's following? Oh, Cranky sees him. He's like, all right, I'm going to get some food now. And he slurps on him, and he's not a tail dragger. And it's again almost proper dinosaur, but he's old and fat, so keep that in mind. I just like this scene. And guess what's there? The narcotic berries. And Natuk wisely puts it in his mouth. He just swallows them. Now his eyes look blue here, but they're really brown. But and these things are effective. Of course, he ate a whole bunch of them. He falls off the cliff and lands on there, and he's like, "Oh, my aching head." So they get the fire back, and as they're leaving, they see that they're fish. The hostile tribe is fishing. Lana gets swept down the river, which I would assume is some kind of water slide because she's doing her own stunts there. Tonda can't find her, and Atuk and Lar rescue her, and then Lar falls back in and gets lost. And Atuk's like, "Buddy, my pal," but uh, he's like, "Oh, well, there's Lana, who's now very." Uh, Lar ends up in a nearby ice age, so whatever realm this is probably the land of the lost, really, or Valley of the Dinosaurs. That would make a lot more sense, wouldn't it? And once again, he's why he couldn't just pee in the water is beyond me. But and well, this is probably a good reason, good thing why he didn't. There's a water yeti. This would be the Lakeview Man, or possibly the boggy. It's a Sasquatch of some kind because yetis would freeze to death, or at least freeze solid. Spoiler alert. Duke brings Lana back to the Misfit tribe, and the guys just fall over themselves. And Tala is just like, "You gotta be kidding me, right?" And now, but then they have to actually guilt Atuk into going to look for Lar, and she's like, "Stay with me," and he's like, but he does the right thing, and Tala is mad. She is on a mission, and she does not think this out properly. But you do hear the Lone Ranger theme, the William Tell Overture, playing right now. Every discovery is also you hear a take on also Sproxaruthra, or the 2001 theme, or the theme from Ric Flair. So woo! So here's the nearby ice age. Uh, they find his footprints and his other remains, but then they see that both the Yeti, they call it a Yeti, but that's I've never heard of a Yeti with fangs like that. The Yeti is played by Richard Mall, who would later on rapidly become known as Bull. Well, 3 years from now, but um, Aristotle, Nostradamus, Bull, Shannon. Jeez, but you couldn't tell it under there. You can only tell here in a minute that it's him. But while they're chipping Lar out, the fire starts melting the ice around the Yeti because they're not smart enough to realize that. Tala here is saying, "Look, I know where Lana is." And Tonda's like, "Lana, glub glub." But she grabs him and they're off to go. So there's the ice melting. Now, when we first saw this, and you can see the background, somebody in the audience yelled, "Oh man, plastic," which it is. I mean, most of it. So there we go. There he is, and he chases them around. He slips and slides again, slapstick. And then when they all leave him, he's all alone, and you feel sorry for him, sort of, right? So we're about to get to the Tala takes him. They grab all the women and the fire and everything, and then she's like, "I messed up." She's biting his arm. She's a tough critter. So off they go, and Lana's all happy that she's going back with Tonda. And they tell him, Gog tells them what happened, and then they start inventing weapons of war. They don't get them right immediately, but they do eventually. They drug they use the narcotic berry to put the horned lizard under their control. And now we've got them right here. So the women are all being held hostage, and they should be planning something. Ta is, they figure out what a catapult does. He's set up there with a smoke bomb. He throws it down. Everyone runs out. The challenge is on. So we're at the final battle, this is a good scene. I mean, this whole ending scene is quite fun, and it's a good way to end the show. Gog does the slapstick part where he can't hit anyone. He keeps trying and missing. And Tonda just wipes out the misfit tribe until the very end. This is something you've never seen really too often. Someone riding a dinosaur in stop motion. So you have a stop motion Ringo and a live action one combined together really well. And finally, the battle is on, and Lana kicks. Well, Tonda kicks Atuk quite a few times. Lana kicks him, and Tala just she belts her, and I'm sure that they had to work this scene out because that's not two stunt women. I'm sure she didn't hit her in real life, but her reaction is good because it hurts when you hit somebody and you're not prepared. Tonda can't work his own weapons. We've got the David and Goliath thing, and there's the ball. The rock. So I don't know how they. That obviously was not a real rock, but good facial. The whole cast looks like they're having fun. Atuk wins, and he looks like he's going to Lana. He's still going to choose Lana. Looks like it, but he's all sad. Then he drops her in more doo doo, and she milks it. She is there for the gag. Again, she's committed to the bit. And then Tala realizes, hey, he's choosing me. Yes. Lara whispers that they found true love, and there you go, and they lived happily ever after. So of course we stayed for the credits because we couldn't leave. These are a visual. The late David Allen, all of these people, and Lane Liska, not pictured, and Michael Plug, Marvel artist of Werewolf by Night, was the illustrator and sketch artist. And then it's got the Bumble Snowman, but we see that here. The critters, which they did before the mythologicals were done in Clash of the Titans. Now, if they knew about it wouldn't surprise me, but they did it first. So, yeah. Oh, yes, I forgot. The score was by Layla Shafran, who also did the score for Enter the Dragon. I got a copyright notice. Thought that it would be voided or I wouldn't be able to use it. So that's why we're hearing that. All right, my fellow agents. Just keep in mind, tomorrow will be 5 episodes of Speed Racer because of a 3-parter. And until our next assignment, I am X7 signing off and phasing out.
Alloy wheels, chrome details, custom paint, premium stereo. The Mystery Machine has room for 5. And the power and handling you expect from a quality driving machine. What the? Oh! Speed Racer on Cartoon Network.
Dogs should not drive.